like it, they don't want to, I don't care.
I don't care. I mean, that's part of our job.
Yep.
But now she's like, I'm so damn mad at him, I'll call.
Good afternoon. It's 4:30 p.m. on Tuesday, January 4th, 2022. We will call the annual City Council meeting to order. Item number 1, consent agenda. Councilors, what are your wishes?
I'll offer a motion to approve those.
Second.
We do have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion is carried. Item number 2.1, 2022 appointments of the mayor. We have a number of appointments here that I will be reading through, and if anyone has any comments, they can do so at that time. Does that sound okay? Okay. So the mayor's appointments for the term of 2022 to 2024. On the Cable Communication Advisory Board, a reappointment of Vicky Tamburino and an appointment of Paul Johnson. EDA, there was an appointment here. That spot is still open and will be pending appointment. The Energy Awareness Commission, a reappointment of Jordy Veit. For the Heritage Preservation Commission, we have reappointments for Deb Zahn and Jeannie Leidy. For the Human Rights Commission, we will be appointing Janelle McCrae and Aaron Casola, and a reappointment of Casey McMullen. On the Library Board, a reappointment of Carl Zeidler. Next page. And appointing Vince Borgolt. On the Monuments and Cemetery Commission, a reappointment of Dale Gluth and an appointment of Jim Lawmaker. Park and Rec Commission, there are no appointments necessary for the 2022 calendar year. Planning Commission, reappointment of Kate Mako and Ashley Aukis. Public Utilities Commission, reappointments for Sean Fingland and Shannon Hillesheim. Safety Commission, appointment of Deb Kaler. Appointment of Chris Vorwerk, who will fill the unexpired term of William Scarr, who resigned in June of 2021. And a third appointment, which is to be determined. For the Sister Cities Commission, a reappointment of Jeremy Reed and Steve Balza, with one more open spot to be determined. For the Tree Commission, a reappointment of Tom Romaine.
So, Mr. Mayor, we have those 2 appointments to be determined. Do you have people lined up, or if people are interested in watching tonight, should they get a hold of you?
Interested in watching, please get hold of me.
Okay. So, Sister Cities Commission and the Safety Commission. There was one earlier on, too, that,
The EDA.
is that,
He
do
had
we
to
need
pull
one
out.
person for that, too?
Yes.
Okay. So if anybody out there is interested in wanting to get involved, give Mr. Sweeney a call. So I'll offer a motion to approve the confirmation of the 22 appointments of the mayor.
I'll second.
We do have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion is carried. Item number 2.2, 2022 appointments to the City Council. All right. So we will be doing annual appointments, term appointments, Personnel Committee, organizational representatives. Some appointments are rotated to give all members an opportunity to serve in that capacity. Others have been historically maintained for continuity. The council appointment reflects appointments by the City Council on January 5th, 2021. Okay. Vice President of the City Council, we have Councilor Schultz. For City Attorney, we have Mike Boyle as appointment for the City Attorney, with Roger Hippert as the Assistant City Attorney. Also, Jeremy Berg, Mary Kay Magus, Jeff Grace, and Holly Hankins. We'll declare the New Ulm Journal the official newspaper of the City of New Ulm. Fire Department officers for 2022, appointment of First Assistant Chief Aaron Wilfert, Second Assistant Melissa Visser, and Fire Marshal Trent Zabel. Officials designed to invest surplus funds on behalf of the City Council and Public Utilities Commission. Officials designated to invest funds in 2021, City Manager Chris Dalton, Finance Director Nicole Jorgensen, and Assistant Finance Director Danielle Amira. Designated depositories, which are for the funds of the City and Public Utilities Commission under Charter Section 124. Number 1, Alliance Bank of New Ulm. Number 2, Bank Midwest. 3, Citizens Bank Minnesota. 4, Franzen Bank and Trust. 5, Morton Capital Markets, LLC. 6, Multibank Securities Incorporated. 7, Oppenheimer and Company Incorporated. 8, United Prairie Bank of New Ulm. 9, U.S. Bank. 10, Wells Fargo Advisors. And 11, Wells Fargo Bank N.A. City Council representative on the Cable Commission's Advisory Board for 2022 will be Councilor Schultz. Planning Commission, Councilor Larry Mack. Representative on the Heritage Preservation Commission, Councilor Christian. Council representative on the EDA, President Betker, Councilor Schultz. City Council representative on Park and Rec Commission, Councilor Christian. And City representative on the Reinvest New Ulm Committee, Local Option Sales Tax, will be Councilor Mack and Councilor Warmka. Term appointments for Police Commission, Gwen Christensen will be reappointed. Her term expires December 31st, 2024. Airport Commission, Brad Lupke. This will be his first appointment. He was appointed in April of 2021 to fill an unexpired term. Wayne Clausen will be reappointed in 2022, and these are 2-year terms. Personnel Committee will be President Betker and Councilor Warmka, with Councilor Schultz as an alternate, and City Manager Dalton. Organizational representatives, which have indefinite terms. For the Blandin Group, we have Council President Betker and City Manager Dalton. Brown County Solid Waste Advisory Board, Councilor Warmka. Brown Lion Redwood Drug Task Force, new appointment in 2021, that was Councilor Schultz to continue. Coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities, CGMC, Mayor Sweeney, City Manager Dalton, Councilor Christian as an alternate. Fire Department Relief Association, Councilor Warmka. Law Enforcement Center Management Committee. Council President serves as the city's elected official representative on the LAC Management Committee. City Manager Dalton and Chief of Police Borkert serve as the city's other representatives on the committee pursuant to the terms of the Joint Powers Agreement. Minnesota River Valley Coalition of Cowlin, which would be Mayor Sweeney and City Manager Dalton as an alternate. Minnesota Valley Council of Governments, Mayor Sweeney and City Manager Dalton. City Manager Dalton serves on the Minnesota Valley Council of Government Operations Committee pursuant to appointment by the MVCOG President. And the New Ulm Chamber of Commerce Board, Councilor Schultz. New Ulm CVB, what did we say? Is that one? Mayor Sweeney. And then Region 9 Development Commission is Council President Betker. These are the appointments pending for 2022.
Madam President, there's a lot that you read there.
Mm-hmm.
I think you missed that under the Fire Department Relief Association Board that you were on that committee. I think.
Actually, that was an error. I am not on that committee.
Okay.
It was,
Just a typo.
do you want to just kind of expand on that? Nicole?
Formerly the council president, it was Charlie Schmitz that served on there, and I think we just didn't delete that and added Eric's name when he took over, so it's just the one counselor that's on that.
And now I forgot which was the other. The only other one was, I think it was E, and you mentioned funding, invest funds in 2021, and that was
It's
2022. And that's where the
yes.
22 errors were throughout the other documents. So just for the record, I wanted to make sure we mentioned them.
Perfect, thank you. Yes, these are all appointments for 2022.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2022 appointments of the city council.
Second.
We do have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? I just would like to state that this year I would like to go through all of the committees and commissions just to make sure that all of these still make sense and to try to get some clarity within the board and commission and committee roles. Just looking through the code, it just seems that there is a lot of kind of parsed things, and that is something I would like to bring to a work session to discuss and make sure that we should all be working on all of these committees and commissions as well. That is my comment. Any other comments?
A good idea this time.
Any more discussion? Those in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion is carried. Item number 3.1, to set the public hearing for the 2022 utility street and alley improvements for the Group 1 project.
Madam President, City Councilors, this is just the first step in the delivery schedule for the 2022 Utility Street and Alley Improvement Group 1 project. We would like to set the date for the public hearing for Tuesday, February 1st, 2022 at 4:30 for the projects listed.
I'll move that request.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to set the date of the public hearing for Tuesday, February 1st, 2022 at 4:30 PM on the following upcoming projects: Jacob Street and Thompson Street Utility and Roadway Extension, German Street from 7th North Street to 12th North Street, Alley Block 174 south of Center Street, Alley Block 196 north of Center Street, Alley Block 190 north of Center Street, sanitary sewer repairs on 19th North Street, intersection of State Street, lining the manhole at First South and Broadway, and concrete sidewalk and ADA improvements. Any additional discussion? Those in favor signal by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion is carried. Item number 3.2, Public Works Equipment Replacement.
This is something we look at each year, and our staff do a nice job of figuring out when some of these items need to be replaced, and some of them are pretty old and get a lot of work. So I'm going to authorize the city manager to prepare specs, secure bids or quotes, or use the state bid contracts to acquire equipment and vehicles for 2022, and the estimated cost $439,941. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 items to be replaced, including mowers and a lot of mowers, trailers,
Some from the
dump
90s.
box.
Second.
We do have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Nicole, were you going to say something?
I was just going to mention, these are all in the budget. for
These are all in the,
Yes.
okay, that's always, yes, good to know. They like to hear that at home as well. And some of these are, 1992 John Deere tractor, so 94, good stuff. Those in favor signal by saying aye.
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 Opposed? And that motion is carried. Item number 3.3, MHFA grant application for Hope Housing Foundation.
Council President, councilors, before you have a request to submit a grant application to Minnesota Housing Finance Administration. This would help finance their project that they're looking at doing, 27-unit building, workforce housing. That's going to be, for lack of a better term, LEED certified, kind of a net zero building. They're looking at roughly 25% of the project, which would be $400,000. There will be a match that the city has to match, and it's a $1 for every $2 that's lent out, so that would be $200,000. But we will be doing that through tax abatement and/or TIF, whichever one pencils out for the project. We do need a resolution passed, and that's why this is before you. The application deadline is January 11th, so we'll go through the application with the applicant who is here. So if you have any questions, you can ask, but we'll go through the application one more time with a fine-tooth comb to make sure everything's okay before we submit the application.
Chris, have we done any business with this company before, previously, within our community?
No, this would be a new developer coming into our community to do a project here. They have done other projects in Minnesota. They recently have done one, finished one in city of Laverne. Spoke with their mayor, and he was very happy with the end product.
How many acres of land are they looking to secure, or have they purchased the land, or?
They're currently in the process.
Okay.
And what's workforce housing?
So that would be housing that would be for, your teachers, not quite professional level salaries, but more your entry level jobs, 40 to 50,000 income. They'll be looking at potentially 80% of area media income for a portion of the building, and the rest will be market rate or for anyone to apply. And looking at the project, this is something that when we look at the industries in the area, this is something that is desperately needed as individuals or companies in the area can't find employees. This is a start for us to get that ball rolling, to get more employees in town to help our manufacturers and other businesses.
Chris, what kind of timeline do we have on a project like this?
If everything goes according to plan, they would like to break ground late spring, early summer, and be done.
Be done by the end of the year or?
End of the year, hopefully, if everything goes according to plan, yeah.
Okay.
Well, we had several community outfits at the end of this proposal sign on saying, well, we sure support it,
Yeah.
including the hospital.
This is going to be a competitive grant process. I did speak with the coordinator, and it's going to be competitive this year. There are a lot of communities that are going to be fighting for this money, and they only have about $4 million. So,
Is there other things that we can do with our EDA to help with this project if we need to?
yeah, as we move down,
with funds?
if we move down get farther down the line, depending if they get this funding or not, we may have to look at other avenues. But this is the first step, and we'll be looking at additional program through the Port of St. Paul called PACE. We'll be looking at that. I'm meeting with the rep sometime this week or early next week to see what we need to do as a city to get on board with that program. So we're looking at multiple options.
Chris, no, if this went to a TIF, would this be like for about an 8-year build out or typically for?
No, so we would be
or-
looking probably between 10 to 15 years. What really works out for the project to make sure it pencils out. We would look at that.
Okay. I didn't know if there was a cap on how many years, for
Yeah.
a project of this nature. I think we need to look at every avenue for this, and I definitely support it. So I'll offer a resolution, waive the reading, to submit a grant application to the Minnesota Housing Finance Agency on behalf of Hope Housing Foundation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? I just think it's great. It's needed. It's something that we know. We've talked about in our community for a long time. I wish you guys the best of luck with the application, and we'll go through the process. But yeah, we definitely are in support.
I guess I've got one more question. Is the land already zoned for R3 currently? Or do we have to bring that to zoning?
We would have to bring that to zoning.
Okay. So we got a few steps.
Any more discussion? Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack?
Yes.
Counselor Christian?
Yes.
Counselor Schultz?
Yes.
Counselor Warmka?
Yes.
And President Becker.
Yes, that motion is carried. Item number 3.4, 2022 mileage reimbursement rate.
Counselors, this is just an annual thing that we do to bring our mileage reimbursement rate in line with the IRS's rate for the year. It is a 2.5-cent increase over the 2021 rate.
I'll move it.
Again.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion is carried. Item number 3.5, Coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities Environmental Action Fund.
Council President, councilors, before you have something from the Coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities, their Environmental Action Fund. This is a yearly commitment that we do with the PUC because this helps them tackle wastewater plant issues. Again, right now, they work with the MPCA and EPA. If you're not aware, there's PFAS that is out there, and it's a really big issue that the EPA and MPCA are trying to push down on the cities to mediate. But the CGMC steps in on behalf to lobby against a lot of the restrictions that come down, because it's really not the city's fault that these things are getting into the rivers when everything has the PFAS chemicals in it. So it is something that I feel we should continue to contribute to. As we split it with the PUC, so we're only asking for $1,695.50, and PUC comes up with the other half.
I'm assuming since we do this regularly, it was also budgeted.
Yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
Remember what we paid last year?
Roughly the same amount.
Let's see.
Yeah.
It's interesting that they use the word a voluntary assessment.
I didn't catch that, yes.
Voluntary, $50.
Because not every city that's part of the coalition has wastewater issues, so they don't want to assess them if it doesn't.
Yeah, we've supported this for a long time.
Yep.
I'll authorize the commitment to submit payment to the Coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities in the amount of $1,695.50 for the GCMC Environmental Action Fund after January 22, and on or before February 22.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Item number 3.6, donation to the New Ulm Fire Department.
I'll offer a resolution to waive the reading to accept the $500 donation from the Brown County Ag Society.
Second.
We do have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack,
Yes.
Counselor Christian,
Yes.
Counselor Schultz.
Yes.
Counselor Warmka,
Yes.
and President Becker.
Yes, that motion is carried. Item number 3.7, Police Department donations.
I'll offer a resolution, waive the reading, accept monetary donation from LaDonna Reiser in the amount of $50 and Kenzie and Sean Humbird in the amount of $120 to support National Night Out celebration on Monday, July 25th, 2022.
Second.
We do have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Those in favor, Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Yes.
Counselor Christian.
Yes.
Counselor Schultz.
Yes.
Counselor Warmka.
Yes.
And President Becker.
Yes, that motion is carried. Item number 4.1, report of claims paid for January. Or for December, sorry.
I'll offer a motion to accept the list of claims in the amount of $3,362,019.24.
Second.
We do have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? That motion is carried. We do have an addendum to the council meeting today.
Madam President, I'll offer a motion to suspend the rules to address the addendum.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to suspend the rules for action, to take action on the addendum. Those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion is carried. We're presenting to you item number 1.1, new zoning ordinance.
Dave Schnubert, Community Development Director, Madam President, members of the City Council. The Planning Commission at their December 30th meeting conducted a public hearing on this matter and then unanimously approved a motion to forward the zoning ordinance to the City Council for your consideration and to then place this item on the agenda for your January 18th meeting for further consideration. There was one condition associated with their motion, and that was to allow city staff and the city attorney to make necessary corrections and amendments to the document as we go forward. I should note that this is a draft document. We are titling it Appendix A to our city code, and so it replaces Chapter 9 in its entirety. Chapter 9 is the land use regulation zoning chapter of the code. This is a standalone document, and it has little resemblance to our current Chapter 9. It will consist of 13 chapters. We're utilizing a new format which places a greater emphasis on graphs and tables and visual depictions. And like most ordinances today, it is larger in size than its predecessor. And I think if you went throughout the state of Minnesota, you would find that this is the same experience that other communities are going through. We've tried to create a document that is user-friendly. That's why there's an emphasis more on tables and depictions and graphics. We've tried to also maintain its, or we have to maintain its legal standing because this is a legal document and is often used in legal matters. We've tried to carry over as many of the standards and regulation requirements that we currently have in Chapter 9 and retain as much of the current ordinance as possible. However, there have been issues that over the years staff has become aware of that we think need to be addressed, and so we've incorporated those into this document. And then we've also tried to look ahead a little bit as to things that might be taking place in the future. I think it's important to remember that while we tend to look at zoning from the standpoint of what's taking place right now, there are also going to be things taking place in the future, and we want to position ourselves as much as possible to be able to address those types of things as well. As I indicated, this is a work that's still in progress. We have some items that we're still working on. Matter of fact, just yesterday we received some recommendations from the city attorney for changes that we should be making to Chapter 10.7, which has to do with parking. And this is really the last chapter that I think you'll see any changes in. But we have to add a table of contents. We need to format the document. The tables and the figures, none of them are numbered, so we need to do that. And then we're also looking at the possibility of even dropping one of our residential districts, and we're still having a discussion in-house on that. So that is something under consideration. One other thing I'd like to note that one of the things that we've tried to do with this document is bring all of our definitions together, put them in one location. Right now, if you go through Chapter 9, you'll see definitions in different parts of the document. We thought putting them in one location makes it easier for people to find them. There are some things, or projects, or activities associated with this that we still need to do. One is that we need a new zoning map. Because we are creating new zoning districts, we need to redo our zoning map to reflect those new districts. And so this is an activity that the Planning Commission will be undertaking within the next month. And I expect at their January meeting, which takes place the last Thursday of the month, that they would be taking, hopefully, action on that. We would schedule a work session before then to go through that particular topic. The other thing that we're taking a look at that also could conceivably be incorporated into the zoning ordinance would be the use of a document called a zoning certificate. This would be something that maybe would help us ensure that, construction improvements, building improvements, things that are taking place, that they do in fact comply with the zoning requirements that we have in place. We're starting to see more situations where uses are going into buildings that aren't compatible with the land use designation. And so we'd like to kind of get in front of those kind of situations and make sure that people know, what the zoning is for the property that they may be purchasing. I'd like to take one more minute, and I have some acknowledgments I think that we need to make. The first goes to this gentleman right back here, Mr. Nisley, who has been a major part of this effort and has done an excellent job. And his dedication and his input, his contributions have been very valued by myself. And the other one is to Mr. Zabel Elwood. He also has done a tremendous job in reviewing the document, offering comments, and making suggestions. And so I appreciate the efforts of both of those employees. The final acknowledgement I'd like to make is to my wife, who has tolerated me being away from home for a fairly significant number of hours as we've tried to bring this project to completion. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schnobeck, and thank you for your work on this. I know it's probably, how does it compare in size to Chapter 9? You said it's much larger, but is it like 3 times, 4 times as large, or?
Well, we took a look at that. Currently, our code is 75 pages.
Okay.
It's single-spaced. It's also a little bit, the type, it depends on type size. So the document that we currently have is, there's more spacing, there's more open spacing, and so it's easier to read, we think. It's harder to lose things, and so, but it is more. And so we did an investigation, and we took out all of the tables and the graphs and the charts, and we took it down to a single spacing, and we came up with approximately 215 pages.
Wow.
So we are big. It
Yep.
is large.
Well, there's a lot of things that have changed, so.
And I think it's important to keep in mind that this document came out of the late 1960s. So things have changed
Yeah.
since that time period, the bulk of it at least.
Thank you.
Well, it looks to be a 387-page document. Right? And when did we start on this project?
Approximately 2008.
I think it was right before I started on the council. So I think you got to compliment yourself as well, taking the lead on this project. And it was a lot of work, and I will be so excited to read this. And
Touch base on this, because, this took a lot of extra time of the commissioners, because
Yeah.
we were meeting 2 hours extra a week from 4 to 6, for the last 3 months, when we were meeting down at the PUC office. This is in addition to asking them to serve to the regular zoning meeting for the end of the month. So it takes a lot out of their family times, to come and do this. And then John took the extra time because, they're working hand in hand with the city attorney, and he dropped off, delivered to their houses, the information for we could review it before we got to our work sessions. And we had, some commissioners that went through every line, and we had a lot of different fonts and just went through it with a fine-tooth comb, and just, we were even looking at the spelling and mistakes to the capital letters, everything was getting done to a T. But it's just also trying to ask, can we change some of the words, and staff would check with our attorney and stuff, because to make it user-friendly, and that's where it was nice having a diverse group of individuals, on the commission that put the time in, so.
Just follow up on Larry's comment. I think we had 5 or 6 work sessions with the Planning Commission. So they've been very active participants in this.
well, thank you to all of you working on this project, and so we're going to be reviewing this on what day again?
January 18th.
Okay. And hopefully we don't find any errors, right?
Well, I think we've already told the Planning Commission that they can expect perhaps a group of corrections probably 6 months to a year from now.
Well, there's always some, when you start
inevitable.
working, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to add, another reason this got a little longer is, we've added solar power in our community, so you need an ordinance.
Yeah.
You've got wind energy, so you need a new ordinance, and, things have changed and evolved in the way we're building and, even it comes down to the water runoff and stuff like that. So we've got to look at the parking situations and you got to have the green buffing zones and there's a lot of details and it's an serving on the commission, it was just, you learn a little bit more and appreciate, all the details that have to go involved when you're gonna have to do a building review plan for new construction and the zoning and all the pieces of the pie. So,
Yeah, and just scrolling through it just now from looking at it for the first time, I just like the look of it too. It will be an easier read, so.
And I would say,
That's an eye-opening document. Wait till you read it.
and I'd like to mention also, it's also, it's one thing that we get this, but it's another thing is to enforce it, within our community.
Yes, yeah.
And it's, we're gonna have to take a hard look at it and, you can't just say everything's grandfathered in either within your community. And it's gonna take a lot of staff's time. And I think we're gonna see some significant changes that the property owners are gonna have to understand that they aren't gonna be able to use their property the same way in some cases. And
All
some of-
bridges we can cross when we get there.
yeah.
Yep. But great work. Thank you so much.
Is it your
Do we
intent-
need a motion to receive this?
just one more comment real
Oh,
quick.
sorry.
So as you're going through and reviewing, if you do see something in there that you specifically have questions on, get those to us prior to the meeting so we can, get the answers and be able to present that, and present the questions.
Intent at the next meeting to maybe go over some of the major changes so the public knows?
We can, if that's the format you want to
Don't
go,
want all the
because
little-
they did have the
language
public
cleanup,
hearing already, but we can go through and go over the major
that'd be
changes.
wise.
Yeah, we can do that.
Just
Get into the newspaper and that can get on TV and.
when we had the public hearing last week, nobody was in attendance in the audience on those capacities, but we went through.
Yeah, I'm not expecting an hour presentation, but
We can go over the major significant changes and things like
I think we
that.
have a duty to do that, so.
At the next meeting or at the meeting in
January 18th is when we'd bring
January
it
18th?
to go over it, yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
Because by having the second hearing, then it'll be enacted after 30 days. Am I correct on that, Dave?
Yeah.
If you
So-
approve it, yeah. If you approve it on the 18th, yeah.
So,
So your first consideration would be on the 18th. You'd have to have a second consideration and then vote. That could be the first meeting in February. It could be whenever you decide to schedule that. And then it takes effect 30 days after your vote. Or no, it's publication in the newspaper.
All right,
so
I'll offer a motion then to receive the planning commission's recommendation to repeal the existing chapter 9 in the city code and adoption of a new appendix A to the city code known as New Ulm zoning ordinance and place this item on the agenda for the city council's January 18th, 2022 meeting for further consideration.
second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Do we need all 5?
That motion is carried. And with no further business, today's meeting is adjourned.
Say, Chris, this doesn't require all 5 of us to be there, does it? Okay. 'Cause I